What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Monday Mayhem.
It's so
Here
funny
we are.
how mad he gets every time we don't do it.
So ridiculous. I will never do that in my life. We got anything to talk about?
I'm going to see Hamilton tomorrow.
Dude, I'm so
The
pissed.
play, yes, Hamilton. Are y'all a fan of Broadway plays?
Yes.
I've seen a couple. The best one's Book of Mormon.
I still need to
Oh,
see
yeah, that's a
that.
good
Dude, I
one.
want to see it so
I've
bad.
seen it every time it's come to Louisville, and it's worth a
Dude,
If
I
it-
almost
when it
went
comes-
last year.
go fucking see it. It's so funny.
I think I'm going
seen
to
Lion
next
King?
time. Lion King's amazing. I got to see that in New York. In New York
Oh,
City.
wow.
On Broadway. Dude, it was
In New York?
crazy.
Excuse me.
Let's make as much noise as we can.
But yeah, dude, I'm so jealous. Like, getting to go see Hamilton live, that's so
I didn't even
dope.
know about it. My grandma calls me and it's like,
She got an
Brandon!
extra
I'm just kidding.
She said Brandon. Why is she
No,
talking
she
about
said,
Brandon?
you want to go see Hamilton with me? I was like, yeah, when? She was like, this weekend. And so I had to get online and get the tickets and all that. But I'm pumped. I love plays and Broadway. Like,
There's one.
They're so much fun.
I don't know what play it is. My cousin was telling me about it, but during the play, the lights or like a chandelier above the crowd drops, and people think like it's actually dropping, but like it's part of the play. But it hangs over the crowd or something like that. Have you ever heard?
why does it drop though?
I don't.
Like,
It's
does
part
it-
of the play or whatever. Like it falls in the play,
Oh.
but like people think it's really falling. Or,
Dude,
I
that
don't
seems
know.
like it
It's
could be
something
a
like that.
safety hazard if something went wrong.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
It's something along those lines. I could text her and ask her, but
Call her.
I remember her.
Oh, that's Phantom of the Opera.
Yep.
I want to see them. I want to
Yeah,
see
I
that
want
live.
that
Well, I
too.
just ruined it for you. You're gonna be expecting. You're gonna be looking up the whole time.
No, I'll be
They're not getting
I'll be
me.
like watching the play and then
Yeah.
Forget about it.
For sure.
freak the fuck out.
All right, any less gay topics we want to talk
Well,
about?
here, check this out. I found out
It's not gay.
I've had like this pain on my foot, on the bottom
From
of my foot.
trying to walk different.
No, it actually does make me walk different though. I've got like a limp in the morning when I wake up, and a limp when I get off work when I come home and shit.
So you're good at work.
It's what's called a plantar's wart on the bottom of my foot. Dude, this shit sucks
Yeah.
so bad.
You need to go get it removed.
Yeah, that's what people keep saying, but
I have,
Show the camera.
no.
How big is it? Like a dime?
Dude, it's
Is
kind
it
of
that
weird
big?
because there's like a. Hear me out. It's hard to explain. But there's
I've
like
had one.
a gash next to it, but it's not
Okay,
a
never
cut.
mind.
It's just like an indent
With
in the
dry
bottom of my
skin.
foot.
Never
It
mind.
What
feels
the-
like it would be like a cut or something.
Let me
Is
feel
it
it.
white?
Did
I
you
don't
just
know,
do
I'd
an
have to, like,
indention?
Like mine was like raised above the skin and was like white and rough.
Oh,
Yeah.
the wart is
Yeah.
like yeah.
I went and had mine removed, and they took like a piece of metal, like a thin piece of metal, and she like floss, and she cut it off,
Wow.
and then dug it out and like cauterized it.
What
Where
did they
was
numb
it?
your foot?
Yeah, she gave me a shot, which the shot hurts the most, and then they told me to lay back, and she was like, I'm gonna advise you, don't watch. And like I was kind of peeking and saw her
Why
like
would
take
you do
metal
that?
floss and cut it. And I was like, okay, shouldn't have looked. And she's digging it out, and I was like, okay, I think I'm good. So I set up, and I could put like my whole first knuckle of my pinky in my ankle. Like
What
it was
the
like on the
fuck?
like on my. I have a scar, but there was just a hole, and I was like, oh fuck, I really shouldn't have looked. And she was like cauterizing it because they have to get all the like roots out, or it's just gonna come
Well, yeah,
back.
my dad keeps saying the longer I let it go,
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
deeper
say
it's
like
gonna get.
freeze it. Like that's what
That's
they
what I
usually
thought.
do.
I think I tried to freeze mine. Like you're gonna have to go get it removed.
I've had like war. I don't think I had anything y'all's level.
My
Nothing
foot's
like
gonna
that.
be
I
numb.
froze some of mine
Dude, the
off.
shot is where it's on the bottom of your foot.
yeah.
So mine was like
It's
on
on the
side.
bottom and it's on my like.
Is it on your heel or
no,
your?
it's right here.
on like the ball.
Like on the front right here.
Yeah.
Is where on the other foot, and which sucks because that's where like all my weight goes.
So, yeah, I
every
was
time
lucky.
I walk on it,
Dude, you're
Because
gonna
mine
have
was
to get
on the
that
side, like under my ankle, so it didn't hurt. 'Cause I
taken
never
care
put
of.
pressure on it.
dude.
But I
It's
still
just
It's
gonna
so hard
drive you
not to. Like I've
crazy.
been walking on the side of my foot now for like 2 weeks, so like the side of like the actual ball under my big toe is like hurts. Now.
Yeah.
from walking in. Huh?
You have insurance? Go get it taken care
I
of.
just don't have time to take off work.
You're off Fridays.
I know, but
Go get it.
I got things to do on Fridays.
Get a wart removed.
You can go to the movies after you get your wart removed, bro.
Depends on the movie.
What about the podcast?
It can become cancerous and you
Yeah,
can die.
that too. No. It's my foot. And I'm immortal. I can't die.
Never had foot cancer?
Nope.
I beat 3 stints of it. Foot cancer.
I don't want to talk about cancer.
Me neither. Why'd we bring it
I
up?
hate.
No, it's fireworks, not gunshots if you can hear it.
Is it fireworks?
I hope
4th
so.
of July.
That's what I tell myself.
We still got 2 weeks.
They probably don't even fucking hear it, dude.
Yeah, they're
Y'all
starting
got
to
any
set
big
up.
plans for 4th of July?
I never do.
I got Monday off.
Oh, I hope I get off work.
Dude,
I'll
we
probably
get-
have to work Saturday.
We get 4th of July and the day after off because we're a Canadian-run company. So we get the day after 4th of July. So
Do they
we're
sell
getting
them?
shut down all week that week. So we're not going to be working at all that week. I
You're
mean,
gonna
I'll be
have
working
a
because they're going
paint-
to take volunteers.
the next
You get,
week
double time
after.
or something.
But I get to save
Time
my
and a
vacation
half?
time.
The week after is gonna suck. You're gonna be so busy.
Oh, yeah.
Because usually, whenever we're off for a holiday, we got to work the Saturday
Catch up.
before or the Saturday
And they
after,
give
or
us-
10 hours.
Yeah,
all
and then
week.
our hours go up to like 1,000 as opposed to because like
1,000 hours.
yeah, we have to get like so many hours out a week, and we're usually anywhere from like 600 to like 800, and on like overtime weeks will be like 1,000 plus hours, and that's what it's going to be right after 4th of July. It's going to be like.
But no, I don't have any plans. Usually, I'll go hang out with Corey or something and let him buy fireworks and shoot them off.
Our little crew has a party every year. I think we're going to Jamie's brothers though in Indiana.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to a friend's house. They have a party
We're lame.
every year. Her dad actually owns like a fireworks shop or something. So
Oh,
he could-
really?
yeah.
So you get the
Wow.
good
Yeah,
shit.
always, yeah.
Fireworks are so fun.
Especially
really
the
are.
illegal ones.
Ooh, don't talk about
And
it.
lighting off mortars, dude, it's like ear piercing, but it's so much fun.
What's the craziest thing you've done with a firework?
We actually had Jamie went to Jamie's dad's for 4th of July a few years back, and they had like a really like badly rigged table that's like old as shit they've been using for years, and they set off. Well, we would all go up to the table, the guys would, and we would light each firework off, and they'd go off, and then we went to the table, lit off a bunch of fireworks, and then I guess the support of the table broke down. And the table fell towards us, and every firework came flying at us. And the worst part about it is like Jamie's brother's wife was there with the baby.
Oh,
So when it happened, when I turned around to block myself, I saw her with the baby. So I like stood in front of her and the baby.
You
and
lying.
I swear to God, I felt a firework hit my back. Didn't go off on my back or anything like that, but I felt it like smack
Just-
into my back.
yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah, if you've watched every episode of
Rodney's
us by
like-
now, Rodney is the opposite of helping anybody but himself in
sure.
crazy situations, so do not buy into that. Okay,
No,
continue.
it's true. Jamie will even vouch that story.
he
Me
was
and my
like,
cousin-
baby.
Me and some of my cousins, we would like shoot Roman candles at each other. Like
Oh
on purpose.
yeah,
feel
I
like you
love
have to,
Roman
like-
Candle
Yeah.
Wars.
But then,
Oh, those sucked.
but then
I do not
one,
love them.
One of my friends' friends got like too drunk, so he started lighting like bigger fireworks and like throwing them at us.
Oh
and I was
my
like,
god!
all right, we're fucking done.
Yeah.
Like Roman candles are cool, but like you're not throwing
Alcohol
a
and
bomb.
fireworks.
I'll tell you what I'm throwing. I'm throwing hands. If a motherfucker
He-
starts doing that, he's
And
getting
he was
lit
just
up.
laughing and holding it like a fucking grenade, like just
Waiting
waiting
for the last
and
second and then throw it.
I was like, dude, you're gonna lose your hand like
Yeah.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
We,
Yeah, he
uh,
might fuck
I used to
himself
hang out
on
with
there.
Jeremy and Marvin, and we would leave like Kentucky Kingdom when it was dark. Back in the good old days when you could leave Kentucky
Those are
Kingdom
my
in the
guys
dark.
back in the day too.
Yeah,
I
and
know exactly what you're talking about.
we got all those Black Cats fireworks that just make the real loud noises.
I love Black Cats.
And we would go to like a sewer like tunnel and throw them in there, and it just amplify the sound.
they're
it was-
so simple, but they're so much fun to to light off.
I just had such a blast just hearing that sound for some reason. Like, it was so loud, I just couldn't comprehend. Like, that sounded like a gun went off right by my ear. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone's shot Roman candles at each other as a kid.
fun.
Like, that's the main thing.
I've told.
That was when I was down in Florida in rehab, and we were going out front to have a Roman candle war on 4th of July.
Oh, I just realized you were wearing a mask.
Yeah, and I got
Kinda
shot in
like
the
your
eye by a
face.
Roman candle.
Through the little hole.
Yeah. I was so
Did you
upset.
know good?
You're lucky.
Yeah, look, afterwards.
Go show the camera.
Can I?
Yeah. Go
No.
for it.
See pictures?
Yeah, you can see the pictures.
see
Yeah.
pictures?
I believe they can. That's him before, show after. Looks the same as he does now and never recovered. I've told all my fireworks stories before. I almost blew my hand off because I burned my thumb. And I looked at my thumb like, God damn, that hurt.
With the fireworks.
Yeah, and then I looked over and the firecracker was on the inch, and I went, "Buh!" and literally went this far from my hand, like a couple of inches, went inches away from blowing my hand off. And then something you didn't remember is when our cousin Katie got lit up by fireworks. I talked about that
My
on here.
fawn got hit too.
Yeah, but
We used
Katie,
to have all the
Katie
parties
got
at
the
my
worst.
house.
It was the final firework of the night, and it got kicked over, and she came out with like a fucking, I don't know, a flavor ice or something. Like she had like a whatever the fuck popsicle that was, and they went ping 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 ping, and at least half of those ping pings went ba 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 to her fucking stomach. And at the moment, since I was like, maybe 9 years old, I was like, she's dead. I'm so sorry, Katie. Josh is probably not younger.
Give me that.
Good
I'm
job,
so sorry
dummy.
for being angry.
Dude,
I'll join you
also, what's really fun is bonfires, man.
Oh, I love
My dad had this one job, and he could get unlimited amount of wooden
Dude,
pallets.
those are the greatest.
So we drove up there one time with my truck and his truck, and we just loaded the back of our trucks up with wooden pallets, dude.
the whole year.
And I made we have a fire pit, and then I made like seats with like the smaller pallets. So it was like nice.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty dope.
And we had a bonfire with the pallets. We would just throw them, and it was a big fire. It was amazing. And the next day, we went and got more. My dad and my brother went and got more pallets, and I was at home, and I was just like laying in bed or something, just watching TV. And my dad calls, and he was like, "Hey, go outside and see if the fire's lit." And so I go outside. The fire, we didn't put it completely out, which is our fault. Always put out your bonfire. We didn't put it out all the way, and it re-caught, and the wind blew, and we had a pile of pallets right next to it. And when I say I look, he said, "Go outside, look, and see if that's on fire." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "The neighbor called."
Oh my God.
And I go out, I look out the back door, and I was like, it looked like a house was on fire back there. So like I run out there with a fucking fire extinguisher. They brought their water hose just to like tame it, but it was so glorious. It was.
Dude, a good
Fire's-
bonfire is nice.
Fire's so
It
mesmerizing.
is.
That's
such-
all that matters.
I
is
think like
glorious.
most guys are like pyros. Like we like
Yeah.
fire. We don't want to be near or
Until
in
you
one,
light
but
some shit up.
Man,
Me and a few buddies went out one night to dude, it was way out. It was like towards Dixie, but it was like in the cut. So it was like all wooded, like a whole bunch of land and shit. It was a buddy's house. And we decided to trip. So, we took some acid, went out there, and we wanted to have a bonfire. But we didn't have any wood. All he had at the house was a bunch of
you
tires.
had no bond. You had all fire.
tires.
Yeah, tires and yeah.
You
no
had bond tires, is what you're saying.
So we threw a whole bunch of tires in his bonfire pit and
That's
started
smart.
burning them. And I ended up passing out in the snow because it was.
Dude,
it was
his
snowing
stories are always like, just wait, it gets better.
But,
Just wait. it
Bond
gets better.
Tire 2014.
Because I remember the last thing that happened was the fumes and all that shit. And we were sitting around the fire. I look over at Buddy and I was like, "Yo, I need to get some air." And we're outside. So I get up out of the chair and start walking, and that's all I remember. And he told me that I just looked up and then fell face first in the snow. And
in the snow.
I went into my first and only bad trip, as I was stuck in it was like an ongoing fucking tunnel, and every time my hand would get to the very top of it, I'd go to pull myself up, and it would extend for what seemed like miles. And I think the problem is Futurama was on the TV inside, and I hate Futurama. So it was like coinciding with my bad
mind.
trip.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm
Yeah,
never gonna do.
I felt I did
acid.
that for like 2 or 3 hours, and then got out of it. And then when I got out of it, I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And then I drove home. All because
That's why
of
I'll never
burning
like do
tires.
acid, dude.
No, it's because we
Willingly.
burn tires.
Just I know, but no, I'm just saying because I know I'll have a bad trip no matter
Dude,
what.
acid is
With
so
that mindset, you're
incredible.
right.
Exactly, that's my
So
mindset.
you can change.
Have
your
you done
mindset.
acid?
It's
Just
so
shut up.
incredible.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying.
I've said it on the podcast before too. I think I have, but
Oh yeah,
I did it via.
Brandon accidentally tripped twice.
Yeah, I've tripped twice. But the thing is, though, is knowingly, maybe not acid. I mean, same thing. Shrooms.
Yeah,
I'd be the guy that jumps off like a fucking cliff, which I've done that before too.
It's really all about who you're with. So if you're with a good bunch of people, like you're like close friends, then it's some of the best time. Like I remember we went to the Gorge,
I don't think it would matter.
and we all took. We had sweet tart, and it was dipped in acid, and we all took them and we sat at the edge of the cliff at the Gorge,
no,
and it looked like the trees. Have you all been to the Gorge?
yeah,
Okay, so the Bison
A lot of
Run Trail
gorges.
or whatever, where God's thumb is
Lagrange?
at, the big rock where you can like go like slide
Talking
down
about
to
holes?
they found it.
yeah. But
For real?
we was sitting on the edge and we had music playing and shit,
The
and I
gorge.
just remember like the trees, because we're above the trees, and the trees look like seaweed underwater. So every time I'm just looking around and like the trees are like flowing like
That
this.
does
and,
sound amazing.
dude, it was
actually.
incredible. It was one of the best trips I've ever had.
I would like to do it, but like, I mean, my anxiety and just the way my mind works with my dark humor and just.
Well, dude, I went to this was my first time at
we
the
would
Gorge.
jump off a cliff, Tyler.
I
Yeah,
went
we
to the
would-
Gorge for my first time.
You got the
climbed
same wavelength high.
Exactly.
to the top, and then when I got to the top is when we took the acid, and I changed my whole entire attire to it was kitten heads, floating kitten heads on pajama pants, and a
What?
shirt that says "I'm tripping." And I was just walking around, the woods, like a whole bunch of people, would stare at my shirt, and I'd get like real self-conscious because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
tripping. So I'm like, "Fuck, they know I'm
Probably you shouldn't advertise it.
They know.
You shouldn't trip in a
They
shirt
won't
that says
know.
"I'm tripping."
Maybe that's
They-
the
Yeah,
best
no, it's-
See,
camouflage.
I feel like if us four did it together, Rodney and Josh would have a blast.
On
and
air?
Me and
No, we would
Dude,
have
if
a
we
great.
did-
All of us would have a great time.
I don't know.
They're gonna know I'm wearing Miss Kitten pajama pants. Losing it.
I knew a guy who said one time he looked down and his legs jumped off and ran away.
See, I've never had no like hallucinations like that. That's more
I'd
like a
panic
DMT.
so hard.
So I'm
Are
like,
you
dude,
kidding
How do
me?
I even chase them?
Oh, no!
He couldn't move. He said they jumped off and ran away.
Fuck that noise, bro.
I feel like
I think it's something that everybody should at least experience once, because they got the ayahuasca in South America that cleans out all the
Well,
bad spirits that you've
that
had.
shit's legit though.
Yeah, and I want
it's
to
like
do
a
that.
week-long thing, though.
It's 4 days.
Oh,
'Cause you,
what?
You have to cleanse your
But
body. You shit,
the-
You get-
vomit.
yeah.
The first day you go.
You
through
got to
all
go
the
on
Wow.
vacation.
rituals and shit, and then you have to. I think it's like the second day you drink this like liquid, and
Yeah.
it makes you throw up. But as soon as you're done throwing
Epicac?
up, it's an 18-hour.
Ipecac?
They cleanse your body.
I
Yeah.
get it, but I can't. I don't want to go through the freaking cleansing. I
No.
don't want to throw up, dude. I hate.
There's some
throwing
like
up.
documentaries on
Yeah,
I used to be like that. I don't,
hate
dude. Throwing up is not a big deal at
it's
all
not.
to me.
It's amazing.
I guess once
But
you do it so much,
no,
you're
well,
like,
time
it's
out,
not
time
that
out,
big.
time out. There's different variations of throwing up.
True.
Dry heaving
That's
is the worst, but throwing up, that's just and then I'm good.
True, true. I don't
Dry
know.
heaving is the worst of the worst.
I amp it up in my head as it being like the worst thing, one of the worst things in the world. But it's not that bad. But dry heaving is terrible.
Oh, it's the worst.
There's this one drug in South America where like they just blow dust on you, and you just smell it. Like you gonna be walking on the street and they're just like, and it gets in your body and it makes you just have no free will. Like they'll take you back
You
to
saw
your
that in a movie.
And it's somebody.
No, there's a documentary. Like you have no free will. They'll take you to your apartment and be like, "Hey, can I have this?" And you're like, "Sure." And they take all your shit. They take
What the
all your
fuck?
money. They go to the bank with you, have you withdraw all your money. They give you all your money, and they can do whatever they want to you. And then you wake up and like you don't remember shit.
Sounds like a sci-fi movie.
that would be
It's
a
called
great
like the
concept.
Devil's something.
Devil's lettuce.
No. I don't know what, but I watched like a 60 Minutes or a documentary on YouTube about it. It's like the worst,
For sure, it wasn't 2020 or just 60 minutes.
and it just scared me. I was like, "Holy man, there's that in the world."
Dude, there's everything in the world. There's shit we don't know about that would be 10 times scarier. I guarantee
Facts.
Think space is real?
it. No.
Did you see that video
Space
where
is fake. We're under a dome.
that rocket went into space and it looks like it hit water? And so now everyone thinks it's like an inframent or whatever it's called.
Inframent?
What? Did you
Inframent.
just make up a word?
It's inframent a word.
It's
Someone Google
inframent.
that. Google it.
Infirmament?
Somebody
you're
infirmant. That
talking
sounds
about.
more
Infirmant,
legit. I
like-
think I've heard of an
How do you spell
infirmant
that?
INFIR, and
should've
it
been
should
on the
come
spelling
up.
bee.
that we did. Why have we not done a spelling bee contest yet?
What is this? That's infirmity.
Oh my
We
god.
yeah, that'd be the plural,
No,
right?
we have not. We're doing a fucking spelling bee contest
Physical or
contest
mental
next week.
weakness?
I'm gonna fail, obviously.
Firm.
Fermented. That's a word.
I know that.
The Firm. I've seen
Right,
that.
it's
a great
irrelevant.
movie.
Yeah, well, it looks like there's a theory that, like, so high in space, it's just water. It's not actual air or
We're just in
no
the-
air.
We're just in an ocean of.
Yeah, but
some-
where would that
Yeah.
water lead, though? That's what I'm saying.
Who
Space is
knows?
more believable than water. Because space, we don't know shit.
Water.
I
I
don't
believe
know.
in
Water
water.
is like-
I drink a lot of water.
I've been in water.
We don't know shit
and I'm
about
made up
shit.
of it, you know.
We
That's
really-
true.
I mean, we don't know
You
shit
don't know
about shit, but
shit.
I'm sure there's people that.
The vast. Have you ever seen the like
Can't tell
videos
stories.
talking about how like big space is?
Oh, yeah, dude.
That makes
it's-
me feel so uncomfortable.
You know what makes me feel more uncomfortable, which is like a straight up conversation. We're talking about water and space. We're so sold on discovering space, and we don't know shit about what's in the ocean.
Yeah,
That's
we know
a-
more about space in the ocean.
That's a legit It's literally here, and we're like, well, what's up? It's like, motherfucker, go into that. And
Honestly, I'm more scared of the ocean than I am space.
the
You
ocean
shouldn't be.
terrifies me, dude.
There's probably way scarier shit in space than the ocean.
But what? There's no proof of it. You know what I'm saying? There's no proof of like.
There has
anything.
to be.
There isn't. It's just empty. As far as we know, it's empty. Whereas the ocean,
As
dude,
far
you
as we know.
put a foot in there and you're dead. You know.
I think the
So many
possibilities
things.
of space are endless.
I mean, there's many. I mean, all you
Put a
have to
foot
do
in the
is
ocean, you're
open your
dead.
mask in space and you're
I
done.
Like
put a foot in the ocean,
they
I'm
say
alive.
space is so big. There's an actual like replica of you doing the exact like in
Parallel
another
universes.
Yeah,
Could be.
there's us doing a podcast together
Except
well,
I'm sitting
talking
over
about
there.
this same shit.
What do you think about fucking?
I just
I
waved
don't
to the
know,
camera in another universe.
The multi-universes we've
Yeah, there you
seen and
go.
all
What do you
this
think?
shit.
Do you think there is a multiverse? Do you think there's another you out there?
I'm not smart enough to speak on it.
We can try to be.
It's not what you're smart enough because we're like for a dumb podcast. We just say what we believe or what we think.
Speak for
I
yourself.
think-
So, when I was a kid, all the way up until I still do it to this day. I don't really know
go.
why, but
He jerks off to this day.
It's gonna be
whenever
no.
if you think about it, like to yourself, you can't do it around a bunch of people. But if you're by yourself and you just sit there in a quiet room and think to yourself, "I exist," and just keep saying to yourself, like, "I exist." There's a me. Like, how is this possible? Like, out of all these people, I'm like, I exist, and I get lightheaded, like trying to like figure that shit out, like how I exist
crazy
or
to
why I
think about.
exist. That's what I'm saying. If you're like by yourself thinking about it, like I do it to the point where I legit get like lightheaded and have to kind of like
Yeah, I
fall
freaked
back for a
myself
second.
out that too. When I was
Yeah.
younger, I used to think like that. Like I would always be like, I don't want to die, but then when I think about the infinite possibilities
Yeah.
of like life, like if heaven was real, I'm like, that sounds fucking ridiculous too. Like I don't want no parts of that because it's like, where does it end? It's a weird fucking cycle that we do as human beings.
I agree. Like, if there is an afterlife, and like, say we do go to heaven, it's infinite, so it's never gonna end. So you're just gonna live in heaven for like no ending. And that,
There's no
and
ending.
just thinking of like that would make me get like.
That's what
lightheaded
trips
as a
you out
kid.
too. Is you start to think too. Is just like everything I like here. Like how much of that would fly in heaven if heaven's real?
But it doesn't make sense because the universe, like, I kind of just did it to myself thinking about it. The universe
You do that,
is
yeah.
ever expanding. So, like,
How?
you try, so that's what I'm saying.
There's
you,
already
How?
more
you
space.
think about it, you think about it, you think about it. You get to the end, you're like, oh, this has to be the end. And you're like, okay, so if it is, what's after the end? Because it can't just be, like, what are we in? Like, what is all that out there? Like, where does it stop? Like, what,
Dude, we sound like we're
how
all
can that
high.
exist,
hey.
though?
Think about who you're asking how to, though.
Dude, if
How? Roddy's gonna break it down by definition. Like, let me help you
It
out
just
here.
doesn't make sense how, like, there can be nothing else past
if
anything.
the universe is always expanding, doesn't that mean that there's
To what?
more room for
That's
it
what
to
I'm saying,
expand?
but to what, though? What is
Hey,
that more
hey,
room?
Hey.
Let me hit you with some real knowledge here. And this is as real as it gets. All right, pass. Now,
Is this fake? Like,
no, here's the thing. Think about life in general.
right.
Does any of it really make sense?
None of
You-
it does.
You think it makes sense.
And why are we the only ones?
You think it does because you live in your own bubble. But at the end of the day, does any of it make sense?
No, the fact that we even can talk and understand
So,
each other.
so why would the afterlife make sense?
It just bothers me.
No, it might
Like,
bother
why
you.
doesn't it have like a
Life,
certain end?
no, life
Are we
probably
even-
bothers you, but subconsciously it probably eats at you, which brings out the stress which we all feel. But at the end of the day, why would everything in general not change from that? Like when you
Well,
pass
like,
on, like
We
why?
don't even know
why
we're
do
alive right now.
Yeah.
This could be a dream
This
that someone
no
else
no
is
no
having.
no no. This could be the
Yes, it
fucking
could.
Matrix
Like, we
right now.
don't-
This could be a fucking simulation.
Yeah, we don't
But
know anything. That's
The
the scary thing.
The point is why are we now? Obviously, because of God, Jesus, all that shit. But why are we so sold on everything's gonna make sense when I die? We thought when we were kids that everything was gonna make sense when we were adults, and then we turned adults and we were looking to the next
Still don't know
person,
shit.
and we were like, "God damn, we
fuck am
still
I
don't know
doing?"
what's going." Like I can look back now, especially because I had young parents. I'm like, I'm as old as my mom here. I'm as old as my dad here, and I thought they knew what they were talking about. And I'm like, well, maybe they did and I don't. But then I look at my dad and I'm like, damn, my dad really don't know much more than
I
me.
also feel life wasn't
He was
as
faking
confusing
it.
back then.
Yeah,
Nah,
but that's
it
but
wasn't.
no, it's not about
Or
being
corrupt.
confusing. We still don't. They didn't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. So why are we anticipating that?
Plus, the world's a lot
Afterlife,
crazier
future.
now.
Yeah,
than it
why?
was
Why?
back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
but
where
why,
does the black hole live?
why do we know that that will turn into something
This
that's
is
going
a
on?
never-ending
Yeah,
conversation.
It is
going
because
for
the universe is never
We'd
ending.
be like, what
Well, yeah.
about this?
But that's why I'm coming with my point of view. I've let y'all talk this whole fucking time, but that's the whole thing, man. Is like, why do we expect to know what's going on at any point? That's our childish ambitions thinking we will get to a certain point, thinking we will know what's going on because we'll get to a certain age.
No.
We get to a certain age and we're like, we still don't know what's going on. Well, when we die and everything will make sense. Why does it ever have to be that? We
I
like
don't
to think
necessarily need
that,
it to
but
make
we
sense.
no, you don't need it to.
I just wanna know
But
what's at the
you
end.
subconsciously feel at some point you will know. But will we ever really know?
Even if
Even
you're
we
dead,
pass, even if we
well,
pass away, we don't.
supposedly God is the one that knows all. So
Yeah, and you will never be God. I mean, you'll be.
hold on.
The
Wait
point
a
is,
second.
will we ever know? I don't. Like, if that's what fucks me up about it is, there's people just like, okay, I'll know when I get older. They get older, like, well, when I die, I'll know. There's no fucking certainty in that, and people treat it like there's a certainty. And that's my whole thing. I'm just saying.
Are you- we good? We done?
Dude,
This
this
is a
one
deep
wild
episode.
one.
I like how
Thank
the
you for
first
tuning
time
in.
I truly break something down, it's like, let's end it.
We've been
No,
going
I
for-
just don't think, like you said, it's just one of those
I was
things that,
joking,
like,
but yeah.
I know, but like,
I knew it was about time, so it was the
It's one of
first
those
time
things we could talk about it for hours.
That was actually one of the first times I was like, I'm just gonna shut up the entire time and let y'all go.
It's funny, I was the one saying I wasn't going to talk at all this episode.
No, yeah.